Most people shopping for a photo printer in 2026 are about to overpay for a brand name that a cheaper model quietly outprints. I've thoroughly compared the specs, real buyer feedback, and output quality across the top models available right now. And I'll tell you up front, one printer on this list costs significantly less than the crowd favorite and still beats it on color accuracy. Links to every model are in the description. Stick around until the end, because the winner is not what you'd expect. Buying the wrong printer doesn't just waste money, it wastes every afternoon you spend fighting a paper jam, hunting for a driver update, or paying more for ink cartridges than you paid for the machine itself. That last one is not a joke. Some of the best-selling printers on Amazon are essentially loss leaders designed to lock you into a consumable cycle that bleeds you dry over 2 years. And the frustrating part? The expensive models aren't automatically immune.
I've gone deep on the specs, the verified buyer complaints, and the real running costs on every printer in this lineup, so you don't have to learn this the hard way. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which models are genuinely worth owning in 2026, which ones look like deals but aren't, and, most importantly, which single printer I'd actually put in my own home today. Price does not equal quality here. In fact, one of the picks near the bottom of our ranking costs significantly more than the one that beats it. Let's get into it. If your biggest fear is buying a printer and then getting quietly bled dry by ink costs, the HP Envy Photo 7975 is your cautionary tale. At $199.89 at the time of this video, it sits at number 5 on our list. And honestly, the price is the least of your concerns here. This is the pick that looks fine on paper until you read the fine print. HP settled a $4 million class action lawsuit for misleading discounts and fake limited-time offers. That's not a rumor, that's a settlement. The class period ran from June 5, 2021, all the way through October 28, 2024. And separately, there's a $5 million lawsuit over HP's practice of blocking third-party ink cartridges through firmware updates. Specifically, firmware pushed out from late 2022 into early 2023. That's called dynamic security, and what it means for you is simple. If you try to save money with a compatible cartridge, the printer may just refuse to work. You're locked into HP's ecosystem whether you like it or not. Now the printer itself, it does 15 pages per minute in black, 10 in color, handles borderless photos, auto-duplexing, scan, copy, and there's a touchscreen interface. It's genuinely capable hardware. But capable hardware tied to a locked ink subscription model is a subscription cost you didn't fully agree to. Who is this for? Honestly, a buyer who exclusively uses HP cartridges and is fine with that. Everyone else is taking on hidden costs that compound over time. If ink freedom matters to you at all, and it should, the next printer up solves that problem immediately. Now, if your priority is print quality, photos, graphics, documents that actually look like you meant them, the Epson Expression Premium XP7100 is sitting at $188 at the time of this video, and on paper, it looks like a steal. Consumer Reports, PC Mag, RTINGS, this thing has picked up serious recognition in 2026. A 4.3-inch touchscreen, a 30-page auto document feeder, auto two-sided printing, borderless photo output up to 8 by 10 inches, Wi-Fi Direct, Ethernet, SD card slot. The feature list reads like a printer twice the price. So, what's the problem? Here's where I have to be straight with you. Epson's own installed base data shows a 3.2% ink clog incident rate on this model. That doesn't sound dramatic until you realize one ink clog event can kill a print job on a deadline, and the fix is rarely quick. There's also a 1.2% defect and RMA rate, plus consistent reports of early failures within months of purchase, and inconsistent ink cartridge compatibility. That last one quietly eats your time and your money. The print quality when it works? Genuinely impressive. The reliability when it doesn't? Genuinely frustrating. This is the right printer for a light-use home buyer who prints occasionally, accepts some maintenance risk, and wants polished output without a big upfront price.
If you're printing regularly for work or you just cannot deal with a clog situation at the wrong moment, skip it, because the next printer on this list doesn't make you gamble on that. So you want something that prints actual photos, wallet size, glossy, hand-it-to-grandma quality, without dragging an inkjet into the equation.
That's exactly the problem the Canon Selphy CP1500 was built for. At $159 at the time of this video, it's a dedicated dye sublimation photo printer, and it sits at number 3 on this list for a reason, just not an entirely comfortable one. The design is genuinely compact, small enough to slip into a bag and take to an event, and with an optional battery pack, you can print completely untethered. The 3.5-inch built-in display lets you preview, crop, and slap a filter on your shot before it ever prints. Wi-Fi, USB, memory card, flash drive. The connectivity list is almost silly for something this size. And the output quality? Dry the second it comes out, water-resistant, and Canon claims up to 100 years of fade resistance. For casual photo printing, that's a hard pitch to argue with. Here's where I pump the brakes, though. Canon is currently facing a patent infringement lawsuit specifically over Wi-Fi technology in their printers and cameras, 6 patents named. That's not a rumor, that's an active legal situation in 2026. What that means for firmware updates, long-term support, or availability, genuinely unclear right now. On top of that, Photo Review magazine's reader survey ranked Canon lowest in camera reliability, and the Selphy line's average lifespan sits somewhere between 3 and 10 years, depending on usage. Who's this for? Someone who prints occasionally, birthdays, vacations, the occasional gift, and wants dead simple photo output without ink cartridge drama. If you're printing daily or need bulletproof long-term support, the litigation cloud alone should give you pause. But step up to number 2, and the calculus shifts pretty significantly. If you want a portable 4x6 printer that actually comes ready to print the moment you open the box, the Leoni M100 makes a compelling argument. At $159.99 at the time of this video, it lands squarely in the mid-tier, and it earns that spot with over 7,000 reviews and a 4.5-star rating, which is not a fluke. That kind of volume tells you real people are using this thing, not just reviewing it once and shelving it. The package includes 100 sheets and 3 full cartridges out of the box. So unlike some competitors where you're immediately buying consumables, you're actually printing on day 1. The technology is thermal dye sublimation, which means the dyes penetrate the paper rather than sitting on top. In practice, that gives you water-resistant, scratch-resistant, fingerprint-resistant prints, the kind that survive a wallet or a fridge door. Connectivity runs through a built-in Wi-Fi hotspot, no external network required, and it handles up to 5 simultaneous device connections. That's legitimately useful at a party or a family event. The companion app lets you add filters, adjust brightness and contrast, and even print ID photos. Now, the trade-offs. Independent lab data on this one is thin, which makes it harder to fully verify the long-term claims. And some buyers specifically report problems with the quality of included accessories, adhesive issues on stickers, which sounds minor until you're mid-project. Check the return policy before you commit. It's a strong second, but the printer sitting at number 1 solves some of these consistency concerns in a way that's hard to ignore. And here it is, the one that actually earns the top spot. At $139.99 at the time of this video, the Kodak Dock Plus is the number 1 pick on this list, and honestly, it's not particularly close. 50 sheets included in the box, 4x6 prints, 4 PASS dye sublimation technology, which means your photo goes through 3 separate color layers and then gets sealed with a clear protective lamination coat. That lamination is the detail that matters. Fingerprints, water, fading. This print is built to survive in a photo album or on a fridge for years, not months. Each print takes about 55 seconds, which sounds slow until you realize you're getting a lab-quality finish at home without touching a single setting. You dock your phone directly on the printer. It charges while it prints, which is a genuinely smart design choice. Connect over Bluetooth through the Kodak Photo Printer app, edit and crop before you send it, and you're done. Consumer Reports tested this alongside Canon, Fujifilm, HP, and Polaroid. It held its own in that company. That's not an accident. Now, the trade-offs. Print quality here does lean on what you send it. If your source photo is blurry or badly exposed, the lamination just seals in a bad print very thoroughly. The app is functional but not polished. And yes, the Kodak corporate story has had turbulence. Lawsuits, a slow adaptation to digital, none of that touches this product's performance, but worth knowing the brand context. 4.2 stars across over 13,000 reviews. For $139.99, it's the most confident recommendation on this list. So let's put them side by side, because this is where the money decision actually lives. At the bottom of the stack, you've got the budget entry. Lowest upfront cost, but ink replacement will quietly cost you more per page than any other option here. That's the trap. Step up one tier and print quality improves noticeably, though speed is still mediocre and portability is basically non-existent. Middle of the pack is a toss-up. Decent speed, acceptable output, but nothing that justifies choosing it over the two above it. Here's where it gets interesting. Fourth place is the portability pick. Lightest, genuinely takes it anywhere. But full-size print quality isn't in its DNA, and long-term ink costs run high. Then there's the top pick at $139.99. Best print quality in this group, competitive speed, the lowest cost per page over time, and 4.2 stars across 13,000 plus reviews backs that up. Upfront price isn't the cheapest, but spread it over a year of actual printing, and it's not even close. This one wins on total cost of ownership, full stop. So here's where we land. If you grab the cheapest option on this list, you already know the problem. Refills that cost more than the printer, prints that fade, and a device you're replacing in 18 months. That's the trap. The Kodak Dock Plus sidesteps all of it. Consistent color, zero-ink zinc technology that doesn't dry out between uses, and a total cost of ownership that quietly embarrasses the competition over time. It earned the top spot because it solves the actual problem, not just the upfront price anxiety. The Canon and Polaroid options aren't bad for casual use, but if printing matters to you even slightly, the Kodak is the one you won't regret. Links are below. Go check the current prices and pick confidently. All the links are in the description. Current prices, no guesswork. If this saved you from a bad buy, subscribe, because we do this every week. And remember, the most expensive option here isn't the best one. The cheapest isn't either. The right one was obvious by the end, and now you know which one to get.